Welcome, everyone, to the fourth episode of the podcast. Today is a very special day. We have Murillo. This is our very special guest from, where are you from?
Brazil.
Brazil. And for anyone watching this podcast is meant for the young entrepreneurs in this industry or people who are already in the industry who want to learn more, want to become successful. So yeah, could you introduce yourself?
Totally. So firstly, thank you very much for inviting me for this podcast.
Yep.
It's an honor for me to be part of that, to bring something to the young, community of entrepreneurs. I am Murillo Vieira. I'm a general contractor. I live in Massachusetts, in a city called Leominster. It's close to Boston. I've been working with construction since I came here to the US 8 years ago. And I started my business 2 years after arriving here. I help today a lot of people to grow their businesses. It's all in the Brazilian community here in the US, but it's all over the US. I have an ebook where I help people price out jobs, projects. When we talk about overhead, about markup, about error margin, and all that. I also wrote a book that is
Oh, wow.
that is sold here in US, not in English yet, but in Brazil it's already selling. It's called Build and Don't Act. Be is better than look like you are. So yeah, this is a little bit about me.
Nice. So, I guess how long ago did you start?
My business.
Yeah.
So I started my business 6 years ago. So 2 years after I came here, I already started my business.
Nice. And was that the first thing you did, or is it like you had a career before that?
No. So before US, I was living in Belgium, where I worked a lot with restaurants. Then I came here. I started working for a company. I worked 2 weeks at McDonald's, and after that, I started working for a painting company for 2 years. And then after that, COVID hit, and with COVID, I lost my job. I was the highest pay rate of the company at $20 an hour. It wasn't that much, so they cut me off. I had $15,000 in my savings account, so I was like, you know what, the right time is now. I'm not gonna stay here standing. I like risk. That's my type, and let's get started. So that's how I started my business.
Nice. And what was your vision for the business? What did you want to be big? Like, have multiple crews, or did you just want to be yourself, like a one-man team?
Never, never one man team. So that was never, never, never my goal. So for me, a business, it doesn't start small. For me, it depends who's the owner. So in my mind, my business already started big. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have one of the biggest company in the US, and I'm gonna start with the biggest company in my area, the biggest company in the state, and then the biggest company in the country. So that was my mindset, is to build something big and have a lot of employees. When we say having a lot of employees, that means having a lot of people that you help them to put bread on the table, to feed their families. So that's what I like. That, is to have a big company, maybe one day sell it, start again, sell it, start again and again and again.
And did you always know that you wanted to go in this industry, or was it did you think of anything else?
No, actually, so there's a thing that when we come to US, what 99% of the Brazilian does is construction. So they just need to choose what type of construction they do, if they're gonna go to roofing, painting, carpentry. So when I came here, I started with paint. But if I had another choice, it was just gonna be another trade on construction. That wasn't gonna be something else. So I came here to construction, and there was no other choice.
Nice. And with the construction, what type of projects do you specialize in?
So I basically can do any type of work, like everybody would say the same, I believe, but I specialize on residential construction. So I work mostly for homeowners. 99% of my projects are for homeowners. And then the 1% remaining are for builders. I almost don't do subcontract. I don't like that.
So what is it like? Remodeling, stuff like that?
Yep.
Okay.
So remodeling, basement finish, remodel kitchen, an addition. Something that I don't do is I heard the word this week is like flip flop.
Flipping?
Yeah, flipping. I don't do that. Not in Massachusetts because everything here is too expensive.
Yeah.
So when we say too expensive, that's a too big risk. When we say big risk, it's big money, but I would do it if I was in Georgia or Florida
Mhm.
or Maryland, but not in Mass.
Yeah. So along the way, what is kind of the thing that I guess grew your company the most? Like what made it kind of blow up?
Uh, Branding, 100%. So if there is something that I can say to the young generation, people that like me want to start a business and want to be big, they need to focus on two things, three things. So number one is lead generation. So they need to have leads all the time. So it doesn't matter from where, if it's a lead app, um, if it's Google, if it's Meta, if it's whatever, recommendation, it doesn't matter. We need to make sure we have leads. So then we need branding. So the branding is what's going to make people trust your company and be willing to pay for it. And when you give your payment schedule, they're not going to wonder anything. And then the third one is sales. So you need to have leads. Your company needs to have a good branding and you need to know how to sell. If you have those three things, man, there is no way your company doesn't grow super, hyper, mega fast.
How
So
did
that's the
you
three words.
I guess learn how to brand yourself and get these leads?
So there's two questions in your question. The first one is how I made my branding
Yeah.
better, right? So basically, I would say because I have a good taste. I'm a little perfectionist. So when I started my company, I made sure that everything was flawless, which is the name of my company, Flawless Construction. So I'm all about details, and when you're all about details, people see that. And when you ask about the leads, before starting my company, I was working for a guy, his name is Alan, and he was showing me Home Advisor. He was like, "Oh, this app is getting me leads." And then another friend at that time, he talked about Thumbtack. And I was like, you know what? COVID hit. I don't have a job. I'm home for 2 weeks. I have $15,000 in my savings account. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a business and I'm gonna buy leads on Thumbtack. So that's how I got my first lead. And if you ask me, where do I get my leads from today after 6 years? I'm gonna tell you 80% of my leads, I would say 85% of my leads, they come from Thumbtack still. They're just more expensive, but that's a cheap expensive where I'm gonna pay 165, 180, 140 for a lead, where we can see it as expensive, but they're hotter than Google or Meta.
Hmm.
So when I close a deal on Thumbtack, sometimes I pay $180 for a lead and I get $100,000 project, $150,000 project. Like another one I got last week, $400,000 project for a 180 leads.
Hmm.
So that's how I got my first leads and my leads until now, and that's how I made the brand of my company way
Hmm.
way better than it was.
Nice. So I guess with that, how did that make the first year of the company look like?
So the first year, if I'm not mistaken, the first year I hit more than $500,000. Second year, I made $1.2 million. So in sales. So that was, I believe, in my perspective, that was very good for someone who never sold before, who never had a business before. But there was one thing that I had was a lot of anger. Not when you're hungry.
Hungry,
What's the
yeah.
word? It's not anger, right?
Determined?
So when
Motivated?
when I had a lot of I don't know the word, but doesn't matter. So I really wanted to succeed. So
You had drive?
yeah, yeah, definitely. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. And that's within that first year, did you get a team or was it just yourself during that first year?
So when I started, that was just me, but that was just me for a very short amount of
Hmm.
time. So that was just me maybe for 2 weeks or even less. Because when I started, I already had a helper and then I already had another guy. And as I started as a painter, there was one thing that I didn't like to do was paint houses. The only thing that I like to do was paint decks. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna paint the decks myself, and I'm gonna hire a team to paint the houses. But the thing is, they were painting a house faster than I was painting a deck, because every time I had my phone like blowing off, messages from customers, new leads. So I was all the time texting, and boom, the project doesn't get done. So I was like, you know what? I make more money when I'm out there selling and trying to sell and talking to customers, talking to builders, contractors at that time, than doing the labor myself. So
Mm,
that's when I realized, you know what? The money is not in doing the project, is
mm,
not working. The money is by selling and talking to people. So when I'm not doing the labor, I make money. When I'm doing the labor, I stop making money and I have a limit. And I don't
mm.
like limits. So yeah.
So in order to make more money, you had to step aside from the working,
Yeah.
hire a team of workers and
Yep.
then focus on the sales part.
Yes,
Mm,
100%. So every time we try, so there was one advice that I got from one of my first boss in US,
mhm.
and those advices are here. It's gonna be released very soon in English too. So we can't lose contact. Once it's in English, you send me your address, I'm gonna send you one. And the advice that I got was, when you can pay someone to do something, never do it yourself. So for the young generation listening to this podcast, if you can pay someone to do something, never do it yourself, and always pay people with happiness. So if you do those two things, there is no way you don't succeed.
So that you would say that is like one of the main reasons why you were able to get to this level of success is by getting that help.
Yeah, 100%. So more help you get, the bigger you're going to get. So for example, at a certain point in my life, I was like, you know what? I want less headaches. I'm gonna just subcontract my work. Because subcontract is tempting, like you just get the job, you hire the company to do the job, you take your profit, like it's easy. But then at the end of the day, the quality that I was offering to my client wasn't there.
Mm,
Because when you subcontract, they don't care about the quality they're providing. Or if they have a better job that's paying better there, they stop your project and they're going to do something else. Sometimes, I'm going to be there tomorrow. I let my customer know they're going to be there tomorrow, but at the end of the day, they don't go. So then I lost a lot of reviews. I didn't get bad reviews, but I didn't get good reviews for almost a year. So I was like, you know what? It's not working out. I'm
mm.
gonna grow my company. And I decided this March this year, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make teams, I'm gonna buy vans. And right now we have like 4 vans on the streets, all wrapped. We have a dumpster, we have dumpsters, we have dumpsters coming, trucks. So in a few months, the company grew like 300%. And why? Because I focused on just one thing. And this thing is called sales. But my company has a good branding and I get leads all the time. So that's the 3 points I said. There's no way to not be successful if you get leads all the time, if your company is good, is well branded, and you know how to sell and how to communicate. That's very important. If you don't know how to communicate, man, that's gonna be very hard to be a good salesman.
Would you say that's the number one tip for sales is communication?
Yeah.
Mm.
Communication is the best tip for anything you do in life. So you can be whatever. If you know how to communicate, you're gonna make money in whatever you do. Communication is the key for wealthiness.
And apart from the success of your company, has there ever been like any, rough parts, like any slow seasons or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's been a few years because,
Mm,
as I said, like I never really committed to employees.
mm.
So winter time is always slower than summer, fall, or spring. So usually everybody, when winter hits, they lower their prices. There was already a time that I was like, you know what? With this price, I'm just gonna make a little profit, and that's it. And boom, oh, someone charged less than me. So I was like, you know what? Instead of working just for the pleasure to work, Let me do something different. I'm going to stop my company in the winter time so I don't have to lower my cost. Because if I ask you, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to stop your company for 3 months, or do you prefer to work 3 months and not have a profit? Just take money, pay your employees. Take money, pay your employees. But your company doesn't stop. What do you prefer?
Huh. I'm not sure actually. What did you do?
So, so you have two choices. You work for free or you don't work. What do you choose?
I mean, probably not working.
That's what that's what I've chosen. So this winter is gonna be the first winter after probably 4 years that I stopped my company. Now that I have all employees full time, they need to feed their families. So I can't do this anymore. So now that's when we're gonna see how good I am on sales to still be selling good projects in winter time.
What do you think makes the winter time like a slow season?
So basically, 90% of the projects that will really make good money are exterior. So if we can't work exterior, we have to work interior. And also, all homeowners know, not all, but I would say 80%, they know that all companies, they look for work in the winter time. So they just want like a very good price. And so I would say the good client, they hire spring, summer, and fall. The bad clients, they hire in the winter time.
And those bad clients, are they like tire kickers, or how do they act?
No, it's just the thing is with the branding we have today in the company, with the price, with the way we price it now, is to avoid bad customers. So I like to say that I leave all the bad customers to my what's the word, competitors, because I give the right price. So if they hire me, I know they're qualified. They're qualified to work with flawless construction. So if they're qualified to work with flawless construction, that means they're gonna be good. And I was right to use this strategy, because before I was going like really low on price to make sure I could fit in my customer's budget. But at the end of the day, every time I tried to fit in their budget, they were very difficult. So there's a very big difference of the customer who's gonna pay 30,000 or $300,000. So he's just like, oh yeah, very good job, I like it. And the guy who's gonna pay 300 or 3,000, he's gonna be like, oh no, I have a punch list of 3 pages. So that's very good to qualify all the customers I'm gonna work for.
So you like to have standards and I guess qualify all of the clients before taking them. Is that how you
Yeah,
always worked, or did you take, or before did you take like all the opportunities that came to you?
no. Before I took all the opportunities that came to me. So like we learned, and after so now 6 years of company. So I was taking everything for 5 years. On the sixth year, which is this year, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna raise my prices, and I'm just gonna go lower if it's a super easy or straightforward project. But otherwise, I'm just gonna keep my prices not high, but in the same level of my branding and the quality I can provide. So so now I'm very happy with my clients. Very happy in a way that I was never before.
So you like to have your premium pricing, not just cheap or like affordable, but
No,
to your stand.
cheap, I don't like at all.
Mm.
Affordable, it needs to be market price.
Mm.
I'm not gonna go under market price because I know I'm gonna have problems. So I don't work only premium, but it has to be market price.
Mm.
Under market price, I leave it to. I can't compete with a guy who does the work himself and has a van, and two workers. I can compete with them. But then when the customers they have a problem, they can call me. I pick the phone at 11 p.m. Doesn't matter. I work all the time. They can count on me anytime. They have an issue, I'm there next day. If they have trash, I have my dumpster truck. I have people getting trash. They don't lose their driveway. So there's a lot of things that you're gonna pay more for comfort. It's the same thing. Are you gonna pay more to drink a coffee, in, let's say, Lowell? It's a town here in Massachusetts. Or are you gonna pay more to drink a coffee in Manhattan, New York?
Yeah.
You're gonna pay more in New York. because you want a better experience, you want a better view, and you're in a better place. Maybe you're enjoying with your family,
Mm.
and in law, you're working. So the experience is different. If you're willing to pay more for
Mm.
experience, then you're gonna be with flawless construction.
Nice. And I guess like how do you come up with the estimates, with the pricing? Do you use like any softwares? Like what do you use to come up with that?
So that was very hard in the beginning for pricing because, when we were working, when I was working by the hour with my colleagues, we were like, oh, you know what? This house look like a $12,000 house. This one is like 14, but when you're gonna price it out, you don't know why it's 14.
Yeah.
You don't know the cost of paint. So that was very challenging. And as I said, I have an ebook now but in Portuguese to help other people to price out things, and how not to be screwed, how to properly estimate overhead and all that. But today, the way I price out things is mostly by my knowledge. I make a material list. I check with Home Depot or any other supplier, and the labor already have a very good idea. After 6 years, there's a few things that's my specialty. So when I go to a basement, I look at it. I already know the price. If he tells me, oh, I want a bathroom or a laundry, I already know the price in my mind. I come home in 5 minutes. I make his estimate. It's sent. A
Hmm.
deck is the same thing. I already have records for all type of projects I've done. So I just come to my past projects, how much I charged, how much profit I got, what did I use? Okay, that's good numbers. I just replicate.
Hmm.
So that's how I do my pricing now.
And is that on paper or do you use like some sort of online thing?
No, that's not on paper.
Hmm.
So I use Contractor Tools. Contractor Tools is an app. That's the app I like.
Hmm.
That's a very hard app to use. For example, I'm always learning using the same app after 6 years. I learned something like last week, very important about the app after 6 years, 6 years using it. So that's not an easy app like Invoice to Go or these other apps that everybody uses.
Cool. And since we're talking about systems, have you used AI in your business in any way?
Yeah, I use it. I use AI all the time. So for job generation, I use AI for the scope of work. It helps a lot. I use AI for pictures before and after. So if we don't use AI, we're lost.
Hmm.
Everybody's who's not using AI is staying behind.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
that's real. Yeah. Now, do you have like a morning routine or like maybe like a daily routine that kind of helps you become successful?
So that's kind of a tricky question because everybody's gonna say wake up early.
Yeah.
If I say my routine, I work late, but I don't wake up early. So every day I can say like 8:30, 90% of the time I'm still in bed. So I probably wake up at 9. So all my appointments are after 10. So I usually drive an hour. So I don't wake up early at all for construction. If you talk to other builders, GC, they're going to say, oh, 6 a.m. I'm already picking up calls, paying by phone and all that. But I don't do that. I start my day after 9 a.m. So, and then, but I work late. I'm more productive, like after 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. I'm making estimates. I'm sending follow-ups, and sometimes I talk to clients at 11 p.m.
Hmm.
because I send them quotes, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I have a question." I'm like, "Yep, I'm here,
Hmm.
but don't call me early."
Would you say it's like a hectic life or do you have a good balance?
Uh, I would say it's so hectic is like energetic, right?
Yeah, or like kind of chaotic, like you're doing this and you got that. You're like kind of busy.
Yeah, you're busy all the time,
Mm.
especially in your mind. There's a lot of memes on Instagram and they're so real. It's like I take the weekend off and I see numbers in my mind. I remember that a customer that I need to follow up. I remember another one that is waiting for a message. I remember about a delivery that didn't come up. So in my mind, my company never leaves my mind. I'm always thinking about work. And I believe that's not bad because us men, we were
Yeah.
made to work, and to provide to our families. So it's better to be thinking about work all the time than to be playing video games or, playing a casino or whatever, or just be drinking,
Yeah.
I'm just working. I'm workaholic. So
Yeah. I think that's me too. Do you, I mean, what kind of keeps you, what helps you keep going every day? Like, do you have anything that, you know, makes things smoother or like kind of helps you?
yeah, the first thing that helps me is my wife. She's always taking care of me. So this helps me a lot. And she likes good stuff. So when we say that she likes good stuff, I need to work a lot to give her good stuff. So this is what motivates me the most. And also I want to be crazy rich. It's not rich, it's like crazy rich, like not a millionaire, but a
Mm.
multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
So I need to work a lot. I just don't stop until I reach my goal.
Hmm.
I'm 31. I need to reach my goal at least by 35.
Yeah.
So I have 4 years to make it.
What would you tell someone that is trying to get to your level? Let's say they're young, like 20 years old.
So I'm going to give an advice to the young generation. So that's what actually changed my life is before I was trying to do everything myself, based on my strengths, based on my mindset, based on my intelligence too. And everything was working, my company was growing. And then I met a guy, which is my mentor, which is the guy that when I look at him, I'm like, I want to be like him. And then he started helping me. I started to get close to him, to learn more about him, to try to be like him. And then everything started becoming way easier, way lighter, way better. And so my recommendation is just to use exactly the same mentor that I'm talking about. And then at a certain point, he was next to me. I'm like, just help me, help me, help me.
Mm.
And the company just started growing and growing. I was becoming a better person. The company was becoming bigger. Everybody around me was becoming wealthier too. And then I said, you know what? I want to share the company with you. And he got half of the company. The company became way better.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I just said, you know what? The company is yours and you're going to own the company and the company is yours because I know it's going to be way
Yeah.
better. And he got the company. So my advice to the young generation is don't try to do everything yourself and try to use the same mentor that I used. His name and the good thing about it is that he died on a cross for my life, for your life, and for the life of whoever is watching this. His name is Jesus Christ. And once you give your life to him and you follow him and you want to be like him, there's no way you don't succeed. So that's my number one advice that I wish I heard it way before I started my company. Because if I did, I was going to be way more successful than I am today. And once you learn about him and you walk with him, your life is going to be better and you're going to have something inside that's going to give you gas, that's going to give you motivation to wake up every day and to do better. So that's the best advice I can give to someone.
So faith is what you need to start.
Yeah, faith is everything, but faith in Jesus Christ. So he's the guy that when I met him, I was a Catholic before,
Yeah.
and we talk about God, but just to talk, that's what I had. I'm like, "Oh, God is everything," but in my heart and my head, he wasn't everything. I was everything. I could do everything, but once I met Jesus, who's actually God,
Yeah.
that was different. I got the Holy Spirit, and everything became lighter. So, so that's the big key. So that's the big mentor. So that's the big motivation.
And if, let's say, someone young were to start their company like tomorrow, like, what is the first thing you tell them?
The first thing, so look where you can get leads. Use apps where you can purchase leads because it's gonna help. It's gonna help them grow faster. So buy leads, learn about branding, learn about the right color, the right name for your company, and learn about communication and sales. So get a mentor for sales too. And man, there is no way to not succeed if you
Right.
know how to sell and how to communicate and if you do a good branding. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people, they purchase my book not because I'm famous, but just because the book look very nice. There is no picture. So, and also when you start a business, you need to put your ego on the side. If you're able to put your ego on the side, I can tell you're going to be successful. The problem of everybody today is that they want their picture everywhere. They want their names everywhere. They want their initials everywhere. And that's a big mistake because nobody cares about someone else. We care about ourselves. That's why we want our picture everywhere. That's why we want our names everywhere. Just a fun story. When I started my company first time, the name of the company was Vieira's Painting.
Yeah.
It sucks. And then I'm like, you know what? That's too hard. Every time I have to spell it on the painting store. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do MV Painting, which is Murillo Vieira, my name. It sucks too. If I want to connect with the American community, what should I do? I needed to put a name in English. So I started looking on Google names for company, and then I saw Flawless. And I'm like, Flawless? I don't even know what that means. That's a hard word to pronounce. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, that's the name I want for my company, because when Americans look at it, they're gonna be flawless. I want something flawless. So just the name already qualifies a little bit the customer, because he wants quality. So if he wants quality, he's willing to pay for quality. And I had to put my ego on the side. When I read my book, I'm sure if there was my picture here, nobody would be interested to sell. And if you look at other books, most of them, it's pictures from someone. So put your ego on the side and look, try to study on how your customer, or how the customer you want to reach, thinks. So once you get that, learn how to sell, get the most lead. Let's say you're very bad to sell. So just get a lot of leads and go out there. Throw yourself to the lion throat.
Gotta like throw yourself in the deep end,
Yeah.
take
Just
that
throw
risk.
yourself. Yeah. Take the lead. Just go. Maybe the first customer, you're going to be shy, but the second one is you're going to be less shy. And then on the third one, you're going to be more comfortable. On the 10th, you're going to be super comfortable, especially if you understand about what you're talking about. And then you're going to become a better salesman. And if you get training, which is very important, you're going to improve faster. So if you look here, this thing here, it's from a mentor that I got in Brazil. And to be in his group for a year, I paid $100,000. So that's super expensive, but I learned a lot with him. I made good connections. So, and he's the guy who did some part of on my book. So that's very important. Invest in knowledge. If you invest in knowledge, there is no way to go wrong.
Yeah, man, that's really good advice. And for your company, where do you want to take it in the next couple of years? Like, what is kind of the goal?
So my goal for next year, as of now, I was trying to rent, a workshop or an office. But if I work that, I'm gonna be paying like $3 or $4 or $5,000 a month, which is more than $50,000 a year. So I just made a decision to purchase a land next year and build my own office. This way, the same amount I pay every year for rental, I would be paying for a mortgage, but all the construction will make this land be worth millions of dollars. So that's a way better investment. So by next year, I want to build my office, my workshop, and then in the next 5 years, I want to be one of the biggest companies in Massachusetts. We are already getting very known, just by the wrapped vans and trucks and dumpsters and all that. So people are starting to recognize them. In less than a year after I started to purchase new cars, so in 5 years, I can definitely be one of the biggest in Mass.
Oh, man. And one final thing, just to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they want to, follow your work or reach out to you?
So there's my personal Instagram, which is my first and last name, Murillo Vieira, no underline, no numbers. And just so you know, I care so much about branding that I paid 5,000 real, which is close to it's $1,000 for someone to change their nickname so I could take my real name and last name on Instagram. So that's Murillo Vieira, my personal Instagram, and the company is Pro dot flawless, flawless, easy. So Pro dot flawless. That's my company Instagram. I don't have YouTube yet, no TikTok. I'm just on Instagram so far.
Nice, man. Yeah, man. So I really appreciate it. I think that was amazing advice. I think everyone watching this is going to take something from that. And yeah, any last words?
So I would say the bigger is the risk, the bigger is gonna be the money, the rewards. And the number one thing again is just to know more about Jesus. Because once you know more about him, I'm sure you're gonna be a successful person. I already gave I give this advice every time a younger person talk to me, that I want to know about entrepreneurship and all that companies. I always say if you put him first, he's gonna take care of the rest. So this is my main advice. Put him first and he's gonna take care of the rest with you. And learn sales, get leads, get a good branding, get a good contract, and learn how to price out things. That's the 5 things to be successful in construction, at least.
Beautiful, guys. Well, that wraps up the 4th episode. Super thankful, super grateful. And we'll see you guys in the next